So I know there's a lot of information out there, which is exactly why I asked you guys to send me in your VODs for review. Hopefully this will help some of you guys and understand what you're doing wrong and what you need to be working on. Please remember that I do actually offer aim coaching for those people who want really specialized help. With that being said, let's get into it. So firstly, I want to go over how to VOD review. First step you want to actually do is look for consistent patterns rather than rare occurrences, right? So you want to look at where does your first shot bullet land, and does it always land beside the target rather than on the target? What type of tracking do you struggle with? Are you struggling with purely reacting to switches in directions? Are you struggling with accurately reacting to switches in directions? Perhaps you're not matching the speed of the target, etc., etc. You want to look for consistent patterns in all of those and much, much more, which is what we'll do right now. So this clip is actually being sent in by Williker, and you can see it looks very snappy, it looks very clean. He's over flicking, but he's not over flicking by an insane amount. Of course, we can always work on our over flicking, but it's something that will always be there, right? So what you can notice here, the bots are very small and very close together. So right now he's at 94%, and I've watched this run and he ends up being at 93%, which really isn't acceptable for this type of static, right? So what we really want to be doing is landing near 98 to 100% accuracy. Why? While this run is not bad by any means, it actually forces us to confirm every single time. Because yes, 100% he confirms before he clicks. He has nice flicks and clean flicks, no doubt, but he isn't always confirming. He sometimes gets a little lazy with it and sort of guesses or hopes he's on the target. And that's really what gets you. That guessing and hoping, specifically in static, is what's going to kill your games. You should always aim for 98 to 100% accuracy, ideally, right? But not at all a bad run, and I wouldn't say there's super much to work on actually. However, his question's simple: how do I go faster? The way you want to work on speed is not always to static, it's actually to speed target switching, which I know Williker does a lot of. So if we're going to eliminate speed target switching, which works for most people but might not work for Will, what we actually want to be doing is clustered style of scenarios. People think of this as micro adjustments. It's not micro adjustments. It's actually, since there's so many bots in the vicinity, you're clicking and flicking all the time, so it's more mouse control and you're getting used to doing things faster. VT multi-click, wide wall 3 targets, and even something like RX micro is recommended here. Of course, the more you perfect your technique and land on target every single time, the faster your body will allow you to go. So we have a clip by Tia here. Let's see, CSGO clip. Some nice shots. Some nice flicks. That's just a game issue right there. I don't think that's enabled. So what actually stands up here is her, I rarely talk about crosshair placement and how important it is, but you can see her flicking is way better than her crosshair placement, which if she would combine those two, that would actually be very beneficial for her. So here's a Kovaaks Vod by the Mad Adam, and he's going to playing Smoothbot, and you play this right to get better at benchmarks, correct? So this is a super easy version and a dumbed down version of Smoothbot, which makes it crazy easy. And you're basically just score chasing in this, which I don't like at all. However, what you can notice, if you stare directly at the crosshair, only stare at the crosshair, you notice a couple things. How he shakes a little bit inside of the bot. That tells me two things. He's lacking in matching the speed of the bot because he can't match the speed at all times, and he's lacking precision. How can we fix this? Number one, by playing a harder variant of the exact same scenario, basically conditioning yourself. And I have a conditioning playlist for this exact thing. So what I would recommend to this guy is that he would play a very difficult Smoothbot scenario first. He would play this one second, and then he would play a even harder version at the end, since this is basically the easiest version. Secondly, we got a clip from Pipi here. He's he's dragging his mouse a lot. And if we skip forward, it's gone 11 minutes. If we skip forward a little bit, we'll see that it takes him, how long? 30 minutes? 35? almost 40 minutes to do a full 360 to actually finally click that bot, and he doesn't even click it actually. So, insane world record, 40 minutes. Congratulations, Pipi. Honestly, no critique here, just built different that you can actually fucking do that for 40 minutes. Okay, next up, we got the best legit. You got an apex flip. It's got some shotgun clips. You can't really see. You can't really see much with shotgun clips, but you can see something there. Of course, we're nitpicking here, but that's really what you want to do. See how, look where his crosshair is right here. So as the target switches direction, he's gone. The target is gone and his crosshair is still in the same place. Very obviously bad reactive. He's lacking that pure reactive emotion of, oh shit, he switched direction, boom, I need to also switch directions. And that emotion isn't done just by reactive, it's actually done by crazy difficult reactive, because you're always boom, 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 you're always reacting all the time. And I have a playlist for that as well called React as Much As You Can. Trip Has Gotta Go Fast is also very good for this, as well as my reactive strafes playlist. Anal beats, reactive strafes, stuff like that. So take a look at this clip again right now. This time he's not flicking accurately, right? What he did before, which is leave his crosshair behind, that is a sign that he needs pure reactivity. Basically that, oh shit, something switched directions, I need to flick as fast as I can with the bot matching its speed and switching. What he's doing now is that he's not tracking accurately. You can see he's actually reacting to the bot, he's reacting to the target, sorry, but he's not reacting accurately. What that means is that he lacks reactive strafes. So those are the two things I would recommend for this guy. Reactive strafes and very difficult reactive. Of course, if you're at a beginner level, I would only start with reactive strafes. Look at his aim there. See how it sort of shakes? That shaking does not mean that this guy has shaky aim. It means that it's a compensation for not knowing where your crosshair needs to go. So you just shake in hopes that you hit something. And that is a sign of two things. Again, pure reactive, as I said, or speed reactive, reactive strafes, as well as actually not matching the bot's speed. You can call it precision tracking as well. I call it usually fast smoothness, which I have a playlist for as well. Smooth is fast. So next up we have Gain with a little bit of deathmatch. Okay, people do this in Valorant all the time. Look at this clip. Can you tell me what he's doing wrong? Try to think of it just directly. Look at where that first bullet lands. This is where his first bullet lands. What does that tell you? First bullet accuracy. And this is the most common issue across all Valorant players. They lack that first shot accuracy due to poor static technique. What they do in static is just go in and sort of guess where the bot is going to be. They sort of flick and click at the same time instead of confirming and then clicking using, for example, my 4B click method, which I've talked in the past. And what happens there is that he re-strafes and then gets the kill, which won't work at higher levels. Again, three things you're neglecting here. You're not confirming in your static and Kovaaks before you're clicking. You're sort of guessing when you're on target or not. Secondly, you could also be micro adjusting too much. Secondly, is actually not having enough speed, and for example, on speed target switching to realize if you're on target or not and then adjust. That's a thing I see all the time. Oh, I play Valorant, I don't need target switching. Yes, you do. You need to build an overall foundation of aim that'll assist your other foundations of aim. So let's say if you're lacking speed, you're lacking micro adjustments, you're lacking like this guy, realizing where crosshair is and isn't, target switching and speed target switching is perfect. Forget what game you play, work on actually building an overall good foundation of aim. Thirdly is probably doing a bad pokeball, which I see all the time, not doing smooth pathing, meaning not over or under flicking smooth clean lines. So he relies all the time on that strafing and missing. See he strafed 3 times there, and that just tells me one thing, that he'll actually in the higher levels just die. You can do this in deathmatch because people are way worse in deathmatch and not as much in the zone. But when you get into the game, you need to hit that first burst, that first one tap and stuff like that. You can also see how his tracking is pretty bad if you take a look at this part here. Take a look when this KO peeks him. Look how he tracks him, but he tracks way in advance. He's like predicting where he wants to be. And by that, he lands off. So this isn't a first shot accuracy issue. It's a tracking issue because he tracked before he clicked, as opposed to the other part where he just flicked and hoped he was on target, right? And he ends up strafing. He gets the kill when the bot stands completely still. That's a second sign that his tracking is actually off. So what I would do for this guy is do a lot of precision tracking, a lot of reactive strafes. You see how the KO is doing 80-80 spam. It's very relevant, and it's mainly relevant for your overall aim foundation. That's the thing, right? People play Valorant and they don't play reactive strafes. Why? It actually helps you build your overall aim instead of just thinking this only works for Valorant, this doesn't work for Valorant. No, everything works for everything. Build an overall foundation of aim and your aim will change. Do proper static, pokeball, speed target switching, work more on precision, and work more on reactive strafes, I would tell to my friend Gain. Another quick thing I want to mention, if you take a look at that first clip again, is notice how he moves and the movement actually makes him inaccurate, which is why you need to incorporate movement tracking. Again, another thing that people say, I don't need movement tracking, it's Valorant. Yes, you do. Okay, so look at this. This is what I was talking about earlier with the other guy. Forgot his name. He's not matching the speed of the target. It's massively underrated. Take a look at this yourself. Look how he's trailing behind the target a lot, and when the target moves in a predictable manner, he starts shaking. He starts thinking the enemy's doing 80-80 spam because he's not realizing where the target is and isn't. So doing that little bit of shaking does not mean you have shaky aim. It means you have bad reactive strafes and you're not matching the target speed. Again, my Aimlabs playlist, my FAR routine, or my smoothest fast is recommended. Taking a look at another whiff of him. Try to look where his first bullets are. Look at this. Look where he starts shooting. Basically over there. I know it's very bad quality, but you can clearly see he starts shooting at the complete wrong spot. What you want to do is identify patterns like this. Oh, do I always start shooting at the wrong spot? Maybe I need to do some static and correct my technique. It's really that simple. So he then starts at the wrong point and then starts tracking and does not match the speed or how small the bot is, right? So look here. Since the bot is moving very slow, he could track him for one strafe. Take a look when the enemy moves left, he tracks him really good, but as soon as he switches directions, it's bad again. Look, he's tracking him nice there because it was slow, and then he switched directions and it's bad again. All right, so next, another CS clip from Will. Let's take a look at that. Okay, weird ass player model. Again, look where your first shot accuracy is, Will. And look how you're shooting. You're sort of guessing where he is. You're just seeing him and boom, you want to shoot immediately instead of tracking him a little bit and then clicking. Because if you don't have super fast and super snappy aim, right, you can't just rely on that. If you have bad, let's hypothetically say you have bad flicking, bad pokeball and stuff like that, you cannot then purely rely on your flicking. You see how that's contradictory? Then you need to assist your flicking with tracking. So that's the first thing that I see right off the bat. Look where the first shot is. He then tracks the target, but is not matching the speed of the target. So he's spraying, but all the bullets are going behind the target instead of matching the guy's speed, which I harp on all the time to the people of Aim Coach. Play faster smoothness. This isn't a precision issue. People see this and think, oh, I need centering, I need smooth thin strafes. No, you need faster smoothness scenarios, swave track, centering 4, regen tracking, Joey warm-up 30% faster. Anything that has the word faster in it and revolves about longer strafes is what you need. So taking a look at this, you see how the bot switches directions and you react immediately? That is what the opposite of what that Apex guy had. He does not react immediately. You have good pure reactive tracking, which is, oh shit, he switched directions, I also need to switch directions, which is different from reactive strafes, Reactive strafes is flicking and then tracking him accurately. It's sort of like smooth reactive as well. So I think this is just a flex clip, but overall it's pretty good. I think you're death gripping your mouse, it looks like. But I know he plays on a bad computer with a bad monitor and everything like that, so I can't really blame him. But yeah, I think you're death gripping your mouse a lot. Try to chill with that. Next we got Razor Feed. Let's see his Pokeball Vod. So you see, he's doing the right way of doing smooth pathing, which I talked about. See how he's not focused on speed, he's just focused on drawing a clean line. Imagine you're on MS Paint and you just want to draw as clean lines as possible from target to target. You don't want to stutter or micro adjust or stuff like that, purely in Pokeball. So overall, this is actually good technique. Of course, things need to be perfected, which is very, very normal with stuff like this. And, you know, the easiest solution when you need something perfected is just to play more of that and more variation of Pokeball, for example. Overall, technique-wise, no problem here. All right, we have a clip from Sia. Sia's clip. This video has been archived. Okay, sad. Sorry, Sia. Okay, next we have a Opa Vod. I think is a good score for making a Vod. Okay, so when I look at Vods, I don't want good scores, which is why I skipped a bunch of Vods. I only want Vods which highlight your weaknesses so we can, you know, identify what it is. I didn't look at any flex clips or any clips where you hit like all of your 5 shots. I'm not really interested in that. And he's also flicking. See that? Look at this. He flicks and he sort of just guesses where the bot is. This is such a common mistake. You flick and you're just like, oh, I hope the bot's here. Instead of like looking at the bot, which is why I always tell you use the glowing bots, which then you will highlight the bots with your eyes. Instead, now he's just sort of flicking and then, oh, I'll just micro adjust to find the bot. That isn't going to work in game, because then in game you'll have a bad starting point and you'll just be off by a lot more. So to this, focus a lot more on smooth pathing and Pokeball and speed target switching mainly for you and for this scenario. And also stop playing the scenario 19 times. Because if you want to get better at this specific scenario, you shouldn't be spamming it 19 times. Maximum 5 to 10 runs, then stop. I don't care if you're going for benchmarks. I don't care if you're saving your life. I don't care if you gotta fuck a gorilla. Stop doing 10 plus runs. Just because you upped your score, it just means you got an easier version and you've learned the pattern. That's all it means. It has zero to do with aim. What you want to be doing is looking at the mistakes I'm doing in the scenario and then indirectly working on them. So as identified, his flicking point is often off. Then you want to work on target switching, for example. You don't want to keep spamming this until you learn the pattern and think you're good. Not that you're bad, but you're actually just learning the pattern of the bots, right? So when it comes to pure smoothness, he has good pure smoothness, probably because he played it 19 times. But it's mainly in the flicking part. I could see that. So I would also recommend speed target switching, evasive target switching, and doing that Pokeball style of target switching. Now, next up, we'll check up Coin Games, which I've already reviewed this VOD. He's a person I aim coach, so let's take a look at it. I want you to try to tell me what you think is wrong during these clips as well. What I want to highlight is, if we just pause at a random bot, whenever the fuck we can. See how large these bots are? First thing that stands out to me is how slowly he's moving. Compared to like a Valorant head, even an Apex body, it's way too big. Secondly is look where he clicks at the bot. He doesn't click at the center of the bot. He clicks around the edges. See this? It's very hard to see the little mini dot there, but it's right on the edge of the bot, which tells me you have bad accuracy as well, which you've talked about. So when you want to be working speed, you want to be working like focusing on speed. If it's a larger target, work on speed. If it's a smaller target, work on accuracy, right? These things sort of explain themselves, but sometimes we need to be reminded. So look at this. Sort of the same issue as the other guy. He's sort of flicking and hoping he's near the target. You sort of guess that you're near the target instead of flicking and one clean straight line. Again, issue with Pokeball and speed target switching, and the speed part isn't that I flick to the bot quicker or not, it's that I realize when I'm on target or not and adjust quicker, which is where speed target switching or clustered static comes into play. So that was all the VODs. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I might do something like this again. If you liked it, leave a like and a sub. Tell me what you think. Maybe you learned something from this. Maybe it was confusing, so much info. I don't know. Do tell me what you think. Consider joining the Discord. Consider joining up for some aim coaching perhaps. Or, you know, I have playlists down below. I have a ton of information, resources, blah, 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 my compendium. So do check that out. Peace out. Thank you guys for being a part of the community.